You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unleashed.
That's right. You are now listening to the Mike's Opinion podcast. Thank you so much for listening and watch it. Yeah. How you doing? How are you doing? You know, that's the first thing I always want to know. How you doing? We got one of these today that is subject that's touchy. It's touchy. People don't like to touch it. We're going to touch it and see if we don't get banned across all platforms. But we're grown, right? This podcast is meant for grown people. And I'm sipping on my tea right here. I don't really want you to see this tag because I'm not promoting nobody. Support the show, please. No commercials. You don't get no commercials here. Appreciate that. Value for value. Show me some value back. Link in the show notes. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, GoFundMe, all of that. Yeah. This joint is mad hot. I just made it. But yo, salute. Cheers to you. So this episode came about today. I've had it in my list of things to do, and I wanted to do a little research first. You know, I dig deep. I go down the rabbit hole, and I do too much research, like I'm doing a dissertation or something. I have to stop myself. I end up having too much information, then I have to whittle it down. Today, I didn't necessarily do that. I mean, I did, but I didn't because a lot of it I already have in the mental database, right? So I wanted to ask the question. I have children, I got grandkids. What if, what if we didn't teach our children about race? Hold up, because I know y'all are like, what? I'm going to get it. Yeah, email me, Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com. Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com. You can find it in the show notes wherever you listening or watching. I welcome any all feedback. Slide into my DMs in any of the or just anywhere on the socials. I welcome any and all feedback. Okay, so I there are two camps in this, two sides to this, if you will. Hear me out on both of them. Ooh, excuse me. Um, what if we didn't teach our kids about race? What if we were all earthlings? Now, I'm a black man. I'm not hiding from that. I embrace that. It is who I am. Now, somebody gifted me a few years ago um, ancestry.com, I think. I hate saying brand names. Ugh. Anyway, one of those DNA research joints. I already said it, but there's other ones out there. Anyway, it turns out that I'm a lot of stuff. Togo and Benin, and my brother from another mother, he always said I was a Viking or out, Icelandic, because I'm just rugged and I like the cold weather. And, back in the days when he and I used to run New York City streets, we was with the rah-rah. We would go in any neighborhood in any borough. Yo, we got next. What's up? Anyway, we got into our fair amount of stuff. I'll just put it like that. Fearless. Still am today, and I'm instilling that in my son. And hopefully I did that in my daughter who's grown. But anyway, um, earthlings. Suppose we stopped teaching race. And I know many of us, many will just say, yo, Mike, you bugging. You're crazy. Our diversity is our strength. Is it? Is it? And I can't say I'm on one side or the other. And I'm going to state both cases here. And I'm very interested in your feedback. I welcome any feedback. As I said, I love when y'all, and I still personally respond. I don't farm that out to nobody. If you get a response, it is from me. Okay, and as this show grows and more people respond, I may have to, tell somebody what I want to say and let them do all the stuff. But that's going to be a little while from now because I'm not there yet. I need your help. Spread the word. Help grow the show. Share, like, comment, follow, subscribe. Do all that stuff. Get you some merch. Mike's Opinion Podcast t-shirt right here. Logic Unleashed, baby. When you let the logic off the chain, you can get your merch at the link in the show notes. Yeah. Be greatly appreciated if you support the show any way you can. But the diversity is strength, right? Right? Is it? Because diversity, differences within each other are also fuel and tools of division. So I wonder, what if we didn't teach our kids about race? So I am not teaching my son about race. Okay, like I said, I have a grown daughter. My other child is young; he's 10, and we homeschool. He has been in school for 1 year, and he chooses homeschool. If he chooses to go to school, that'll be his choice. But he has a great setup. We've kept him pretty much in a bubble because wifey and I work from home. We homeschool. We have limited interaction, even though we have regular, normal interaction because we are part of homeschool groups, some Black homeschool groups, some everybody homeschool groups. So, my son's not shy, he's not sheltered, but he's getting one-on-one personalized education, and we love that. But he's older now. Fifth going into sixth grade. I'm trying to get my wife does most of the schooling. Shout out to her. Big ups to wifey. She does 95% of the textbook homeschooling stuff. And we can pick and choose what we want him to learn and how we want him to learn it. Yo, by the way, if you're wondering, this is chamomile vanilla manuka honey. Diversity in tea bags. Pause. Anyway, so subjects, more complex subjects, deeper subjects are coming up in the curriculum. Now, my son is oblivious right now. We live in the burbs. He sees people. He loves people. He will come up, hi, my name is, and he's not shy. He is outgoing. And it's just a matter of time. Not because I live in the South in Texas, but because I live on Earth with humans. Before somebody calls him the N-word or some other variation of such, right? Because kids can be cruel, humans can be cruel. It's just, sadly, a fact of life on Earth, because there are bad people, ugly people. There are people that don't know no better because that's what they were taught. That's what they were raised on. But I asked the question, why do we have to teach our kids to identify as something as narrow and specific as a certain race, as a certain ethnicity? And people say, yo, tradition, heredity, we have to be these things. We have to be a race. We have to be an ethnicity. We have to speak this language. And I'm asking the question, do we? What would happen if we did? If we all became earthlings? These borders divide us. These languages divide us. These colors and races divide us. These income brackets divide us. These geographic neighborhoods we live in, your zip code divides us. Eye color, hair, no hair. You know, I'm rocking the baldy, have for many years, wouldn't have it any other way. I'm torn. I'm torn. Because with all the struggles, all the horrible history, all of the challenges that come with being a Black man in America, just being Black on earth, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. And I've only had this skin to live in. So some may say, well, try living in another skin, live in a Latino skin, or a white skin, or Asian skin, or Native American skin, Eskimo skin. See how your life is then. I'd still come back to this. They say the cradle of Earth, the beginning of Earth started in Africa. The sun ain't gonna allow you to be white being born in Africa. Or maybe it is. A lot of white people in Africa, right? Huh? I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the questions. But this one made me wonder. So the first thing I did was think about things that are diverse. Okay. I thought about tomatoes. Do you know there are over 10,000 variations of tomatoes? I didn't. I mean, I knew it was a lot of different tomatoes because I eat different tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, cherry. I mean, all the different tomatoes. But just let me um school you a little bit of what I found out, just to prove the fact of diversity, right? So, oh, my glasses here for a minute. With diversity and tomatoes, you got your just to name a few: Cherokee Purple, your Mortgage Lifter, your Kumado, your Black Crim, your Brandywine, your Better Boy. Of course, I said Roma, cherry tomatoes, Campri, your Early Girl, your Tigerella, your Big Rainbow, your Jubilee, your Gardener's Delight, your Money Maker. Listen, I'm just going to stop right there because I could literally go on for an hour listing different types of tomatoes, probably longer. But at the end of the day, it's a tomato, right? Either you like just take it and bite it like a fruit, throw some salt on there. I know some people eat tomatoes like that, like an apple. Just, I like a slice on a sandwich or a burger or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I like them in my salad. Tomatoes are yummy to me. The jury's out whether they're really that healthy for us. But this episode is not about tomatoes. That's just to prove diversity, and cherry tomato tastes different than a Roma tomato. To me, there's the ones on the vine, the hot house tomatoes, I think they're called. So I appreciate the different types of tomatoes. But at the end of the day, all I need is a tomato. I really don't care. While I appreciate the difference, I don't care. As long as it tastes like a tomato. And all of these variations that I've tasted, they have subtle differences, but at the end of the day, it's a tomato. Now, I looked up how many races there are. I looked up how many ethnicities there are. I looked up, is race different from ethnicity? Are they the same? And what I found when it comes to race and ethnicity, I found on this website, and once again, I know I struggle to put the links to my research and I forget. It's the process that I have. I just always forget. I will try to remember to put the links so you continue doing your own research and reading, should you so choose. But race is often perceived as something that's inherent in our biology and therefore inherited across generations. Ethnicity is typically understood as something we acquire or self ascribe to based on factors like where we live or the culture that we share with others. So, race in you, born with it. Ethnicity can be adjusted based on who you live around, what you self-identify as, right? Now, when I dug into how many races there are, some say there's 3 basic, some say there's 7 basic, some say there's 10. So some say there's 7 in subsets. So there's the American Indian or Alaska Native, there's Asian, there's Black, Hispanic, Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, and white. Okay. Now, Aborigines, the players from the Himalayas, I don't know. There seems to be all types of people. Growing up in New York City, I can assure you, I know that there are many, many types of people, many, many languages of people that people speak. So, what if there was none of that here on Earth? What if we all spoke one language? What if we never acknowledged, recognized color, race, ethnicity, culture? We were just one people. So when I told my wife that I was considering doing this episode, she said, "You sure you want to do that?" And I said, "Yes. Yes, I'm sure." Because because of the experiences we have with our son, I wanted to ask the question. I wanted to ask you the question, and I wanted to tell you how I feel about it. And like I said, I'm really torn. And that tug of war inside me comes from a desire for us to have peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. It's a song. I don't know if that's a Small World song. Would you want to, would you sacrifice your identification with race, with culture, with your ethnicity for the sake of peace on earth? Would you? A lot of stereotypes and biases come with cultural identity, ethnic identity, racial identity. I'm not going into any of those. You can look them up if you don't already know them. Suppose we all shared each other's traditions, cultures. We cannot share each other's histories from the past, but we can make and build new histories going forward. I look at this world today in 2023, the first quarter is a month away from being complete. and we're more divided than ever. Yet we've made progress. This is I can't really decide if it's wonderful or horrible, but it's probably coexistent, the two. Wonderfulness of humans and the horribleness of humans. Because we are both at the same time. Which one are you? Are you a kind, nice, loving, caring, empathetic human? Or are you a violent, easily angered, hostile, mad, evil human? It takes positive and negative electrons to make an atom. Maybe we need that negativity to appreciate the positivity. I, for one, do not need it. Would you be bored if there was no crime, no drama, no negativity, and everything was great every day? Would you? I would. Bring me utopia. Where's that? Where's utopia? Shangri-La. Where it's all love all the time. I could do that. Now, we all are relative to our own personal experiences, right? I grew up in New York City, diverse city, wild city, crazy city, culture city. Very, the adjectives are endless on how you could describe New York City. Am I biased? Perhaps. But some of it is just undeniable fact. New York City is New York City because it's New York City. I've been to London. I've been to Paris. I've been to many other cities here and abroad. And many people coexist in harmony in these places. But every day, people get injured, people get attacked, people get murdered. And it's horrible. If you look back historically in the history of this planet, world history, people, humans have fought for a variety of things. A lot of times it was territory. That's my land, I'm taking it. A lot has been race related, ethnicity. How would we even stop teaching race? Driving that home, I remember a guy that was employed by me. He was from El Salvador, and I didn't know it. At the time, I had a large amount of Latino people that worked for me. The majority of them were Mexican. I made the mistake, and I don't recall how I said it, but I remember is his response. I mistakenly referred to him as Mexican, and he said, "I'm El Salvador." His chest puffed out, he smacked his chest, and I was his employer, so he didn't take it too far. But he let me know, don't mix me up as anything else other than what I am. I am from El Salvador. I'm from New York, born and raised, native New Yorker, New York City, and I'm cool with that. But these people that want to rep they hood, and I'm not just talking black people, because I'm from Beverly Hills. I'm from Malibu. I'm from Madrid. I'm Spanish. I'm from Spain. We have this immaturity. Because I think on the other side of this, which I'll delve into now, I guess, is maturity, global maturity, right? I don't know if you believe in aliens, life from other planets, extraterrestrials, but there are many, many people who claim to either have witnessed them, been visited by them, taken by them, communicated with them, from presidents, heads of state, to everybody in every walk of life. A lot of people say they don't come down here, yo, I'm from Andromeda, repping Andromeda, son. No, they come down here to do what they do. But I only bring that up because I think it would be mature of us not to deny our differences, but not to wallow in them, not to allow them to define us to our very core and become offended if we are not defined by that. And some people's like, yo, Mike, you trying not to be black? No, no, not at all. I'm trying to offer a way, a possible way for us to be better, for us to have peace on earth. As you know, here at the Mike's Opinion podcast, I want this to be a positive podcast. I want this to affect you positively. Okay? You will not find gossip or fluff here. It's not a lot of sports talk. I like to offer some substance, things that make you think, hopefully in a comical and entertaining way. Sometimes serious. This was a serious subject, per se. But peace. I can't really express how much I would love to be in a peaceful planet and not wake up every day and learn about all of the horribleness. And you say, yo, Mike, you don't have to read and watch the news. True. However, I like to stay informed. I'm not going to stick my head in the sand and ignore it and act like it doesn't happen. I don't let it bring me down or affect me negatively. I send out positive vibes to people. That's what I want this podcast to be. One huge positive vibe. So from a maturity level, would you be willing to sacrifice a bit of that personal identity, that racial, cultural, ethnic identity to make Earth a better place? Should we stop teaching our kids so much about what color they are? Imagine a child is just drawn on a piece of paper, right? And he's not colored. You got to get the crayons and color him in. And we color our lives with all of these labels, all of these identities, all of these names. A lot of that is tied to where we've been, who we are, which we can't ignore. But what if we change that narrative? What if we change that and grew up a little bit and said, yes, those guys are from that tribe, but we're all earthlings. Let's be earthlings. That's a good start. Maybe if we put the guns down, the nuclear weapons down, the tanks down, the rifles, the bullets, the bombs, the grenades, the missiles down. Maybe if we have less borders and claiming this is this country and you can't come in this country without this paper or this authorization. And some people will say, yo, Mike, you tripping. A free, borderless world where we don't identify other than anything other than earthlings? You bugging, son. What's wrong with you? Ain't nothing wrong with me. This tea is delicious. There's nothing wrong with me. I am merely sharing the things I feel and think and propose a way to possibly make our planet better, calmer, more peaceful. This is caffeine-free tea. And one of the problems, I think, is we are over caffeinated. I just read an article. Y'all know I digress, but it's all connected. I just read an article about erythritol, which is a sweetener that sweetens monk fruit and a variety of things. And supposedly it ups your likelihood of a heart attack and a stroke. Articles out there, the research, you can read it. I told my wife about it because she was into erythritol for a minute. And supposedly it was a natural alternative to sugar. Sugar. It's a drug. It's a drug. Anyway. Being black in America, like I said, I'm subject to several stereotypes, and because I don't want to get banned, I'm reluctant to say some of those things. So I will just tell you things that I like. I like rhythmic music. I like R&B. I like hip hop. However, I'm not limited to those. I like classical, reggae, calypso, reggaeton. I love rock, hard rock, alternative rock. I love music. And if it moves me, I don't really care what genre it's in. It's all music. It's the same thing I'm trying to say with human beings. And some people would have such a hard time because who they are is so rooted in that cultural, racial, or ethnic identity. It's almost like they don't see themselves as human. They are this cultural identity, this racial identity, so much that they ostracize themselves from other humans. They cause conflict with anybody that's not that specific race. Do you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going? What if we remove that? And I say our children because it has to be our children. Our children are our future. So if we start there, just dialing it back a little bit, don't hide from it. Maybe with each generation, we start watching less and less and less. How we would get to one language, I don't know. My understanding, and I meant to look this up. I guess I could right now, but I'm not. It has something, if you believe in Christianity and the Bible, I don't know about the Torah or the Quran or any of those other holy books, but that this was some form of punishment that we speak different languages. Don't quote me on that, but this is my loose, very vague recollection of why we have so many different languages. Now, Me being an English speaker, of course, we know where this English language came from, the king or queen's English. I don't believe it's the native tongue in Africa. Perhaps Sumerian is the oldest language. Hmm? This being my native tongue, and I've taken 4 years of French, and I don't remember anything but la porte, which is the door, because that's what I wanted to get out of from the class. You know what I'm saying? I remember a few others. Voulez-vous coucher à ce soir? Ce soir? Oui, oui. Um, Croissant. But it's coming to a point with technology where you'll be able to communicate. Technology exists today that we really have some pretty good translators out there where you can have a device and speak with somebody in a language that you don't understand. And you can understand them, they can understand you. So that barrier may eventually be crossed. So, in a way, we would be able to speak the same language as AI grows, these translator grows. It'll probably be in your phone or a device you can put on your neck. So imagine for a second, the language barrier is gone. Hmm? How proud are you of your hood? How proud of you are you of your race, of your ethnicity, of your culture? Would you be willing not to sacrifice it personally, but to teach our youth, our babies, our young ones, less identification about race? And that's why I say I'm torn. I'm torn personally on this because I understand both sides of it. But moving forward into the future with a hope for world peace and a hope to one day be invited to the universal table. Because yes, Mike of the Mike's Opinion podcast believe there are other intelligent civilizations with advanced technologies that refuse to outwardly reveal themselves because we're heathens, we're savages down here. We can't even get along with each other. Recently, and I talked about this in a recent episode, we've been shooting things out of the sky. We're not trying to communicate it, and if they don't communicate back, it must be a threat, right? Those that are in charge in governments all around the planet, if there's something in our airspace or something enters our atmosphere, we're not taking no chances. And I get it. If I'm in those positions of power, I can't really say how I would act either. But I don't know. Because just because somebody or something doesn't communicate doesn't mean it's hostile. It also doesn't mean that it's not hostile. So what do? Me, I'm taking a chance. I'm gonna have the weapons ready. I'm locked and loaded just in case. However, I'm not firing. I'm gonna try to keep the dialogue going. You say, yo, Mike, you talking about fighting with aliens? What are you talking about? I am talking about we have to mature as human beings, the human race of people have to mature before we can present ourselves to the universe. And you say, yo, you bugging. There ain't no proof of life on Earth. I beg to differ. I believe there is. There's a lots of proof. And for those long-term, I always say long-term, long-time listeners, the series on alien life, extraterrestrials is coming. I've been promising it for over a year now. It's coming, I promise you. But there's proof out there. But before we can do that, we need to make peace on Earth a thing. And I think not teaching potential tools of division could be a great start. I'm going to design a shirt to put in my store where you can get the merch, support the show, and it's going to say I'm an Earthling. If you want me to use one of your designs, submit it. Mike's Opinion Show at gmail.com or any of the socials. And we can work out a deal. You get some of the profits from any sales of that shirt or coffee mug or hat, because I can brand almost anything. Okay. You can get the Mike's Opinion podcast on your mug. Sip your tea out of it. So that's what I wanted to, discuss today. And it really all boils down to just a question. That's really all I have for you today was a question. What if we didn't teach our children about race? What if we started backing off of that and collectively decided that we are all going to identify as the human race? We are all going to identify as earthlings. How about that? I think that shows maturity, and that, like I said, that concept, when you mature, you let go of certain things that were deemed silly or, juvenile, and we grow. That doesn't mean you don't become fun. You're not fun anymore, but we mature. We grow. Have we grown as a race of living organisms? Technologically, we've created more advanced tech. Transportation. We're not doing a horse and buggy. We're jetting through the air. We're rocketing to other planets. Have we advanced in the way we deal with each other? And I say no. We are still like cavemen. We're still violent, impatient. There's far too less empathy, too little empathy on this planet. It's time we start to grow up, love each other, appreciate each other, embrace each other, understand each other for the common goal of a peaceful planet. There are a lot of ignorant people out there that just don't know no better. We need to embrace them and teach them. And I'm not unrealistic. I'm not naive. There are just some evil people out there. And they must be dealt with expeditiously. Because if you're not with us, the peaceful ones, then you are against us. Peace to you. I'm Mike. This is the Mike's Opinion Podcast. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing well. As always, I ask you, support the show, please. Like, share, subscribe, comment, follow. Do all of that. Okay? If you got 2 nickels to rub together, little spare change, go to the GoFundMe. Spark it off. Be the first to light up that GoFundMe, please. It'd be great if you did that. If you want to send me direct box of cash, I'll send you my mailing address. Just shoot me a message anywhere you can. Email, any of the social media. If you want to send me $5, $10, I need new equipment. Y'all know I need new equipment. Okay? So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, any way you want to do it will be greatly appreciated. I need your support. This is a commercial-free endeavor. This show is free for you to consume. It is not free for me to make, so I ask for your support. I really do. It'll be greatly appreciated. Again, I hope you're doing well. I'm Mike. Thank you so much for listening to the Mike's Opinion Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.